What's going on, guys? It's Enemy1 back here with another video, and today we're gonna be talking about what if Naruto was taken by Jiraiya for 3 years, part 7. So let's begin the video. The next day, Naruto was walking towards the academy where the test was supposedly going to be. Naruto sighed that sand kid with red hair was still in his mind. Right now, Naruto was in front of the academy with Suki and Sasuke waiting for him. You sure took your time, idiot, Sasuke said with a grunt. Hello, Naruto, Suki said. Naruto smiled at Suki and greeted her with a smile, but Sasuke just looked at them with a mock unpleasant look. The three just headed inside and saw a huge crowd by the door. Suki noticed something was off. As her two teammates were heading towards the crowd too, she grabbed them. No, there's a genjutsu there. We'll go up to the first floor since this room is a fake. The two nodded. They trusted their teammate when it came to genjutsu, so they followed her instructions. They secretly moved to a stair of the room, but Sasuke heard his name being called out. The team turned around to see a kid of their age, with a weird green suit and thick eyebrows. You're Sasuke Uchiha, right? The boy asked as Sasuke nodded. I'm Rock Lee, and I'm here to challenge you to a battle, the boy known as Rock Lee said. Sasuke smirked, but before Sasuke could answer, Suki grabbed his shoulder. Sasuke, don't waste your time. You need to keep your abilities a secret until the exams, she said as Sasuke looked at her, then looked at Naruto, who nodded as he looked at Lee again. Why, here, let's sell this at the exams, Sasuke said as Lee looked at him. In a blink of an eye, Lee was in front of Sasuke, looking at him dead in the eyes. I think you're scared, Lee said, as Sasuke smirked and activated his three Tomoe Sharingan. Really? Sasuke said, as the Sharingan started spinning. Lee was standing still as Sasuke looked at Naruto and Suki. Let's go, before he breaks out of my genjutsu, Sasuke said. As Suki and Naruto smiled, Sasuke was actually thinking things through instead of acting on his pride. They headed up to the third floor as they saw Kakashi was standing near the waiting room. Excellent job in figuring it out, you three. I'm glad you all came because even if one of you didn't show up, we couldn't allow you to enter since this takes a team effort. The three genin nodded in understanding. He didn't tell them that before because he wanted them to make the decisions on their own, not to be judged by it. Kakashi gave them a nice smile. Well, go on in, you three. Good luck. With that, Jonin was gone, and the thing in front of them was three doors. They entered the room. The room was full of killing intent since they were fresh meat. Naruto was faring a little better than everyone around him since he felt Jiraiya's killing intent twice. So this was a kid's anger compared to Jiraiya's. Suddenly, something clung to Sasuke. Hey, Sasuke-kun, you're here too, huh? Ino said. Naruto just sighed. This is some bullshit, he thought. Soon Shikamaru and Choji showed up. Hey, man, you guys are here too, huh? Naruto said with a sigh, but smiled at them. Ino looked over to Naruto and Suki. Those two seemed to be awfully close. What's up with them? Ino thought, getting curious, and teammates showed up. Kiba, of course, had to say something as usual. Hey, you guys. So, you guys showed up too, huh? Seems we'll kick Team 7's ass, Kiba said. Hinata looked over to Naruto and blushed. Hi, Naruto, she said. Oh, it's you, Hinata. Hey, he said dryly before turning back to Suki, who was talking about the Genin present. Hinata saw how he engaged with Suki and glared in envy, so Naruto is more interested in her all of a sudden. What the hell? She thought in slight anger before Kiba opened his mouth towards Naruto. So you think of all people, you have the best shot at becoming a Chunin, idiot. You should have just stayed home, Kiba taunted. Naruto laughed. Says the one who got the lowest scores in the academy out of all of us, Kiba. Whatever, Kiba said. If I see you in the tuning exams, I'll crush you, Kiba said with a smirk. Naruto rolled his eyes. Before he could say anything, however, a guy with a gray hair and a ponytail with a glass spoke. So, you guys should keep it down, he said. Yeah, and who the hell are you? Ino shouted. The man chuckled. My name is Kabuto. I am an experienced contender for these exams. Experience? What the hell is up with this guy? Naruto thought. What the hell does that even mean? Kiba asked. It means that this is not my first time taking the exam or even the second. This is actually my 7th year. Kiba chuckled. I'm sorry, but did you say your 7th time? If that's the case, give up, dude. You suck, he said. Well, yes, some of us have to die hard dreams. Anyways, use these times at the tuning exams to gather details about others, even if they have yet to enter, like you rookies. Sasuke moved up. You have information on the Genin here, he asked. The gray-haired Genin nodded. Anyone in here who is in this room, I know about. Alright, I have a few names. Gaara of the Sand, Rock Lee of Konoha, and Naruto Uzumaki. The two people in the room frowned. Well, you made it too easy by knowing their name. Kabuto pulled up the first card, revealing Gaara. His name is Gaara of the Sand. His teammates are his siblings, Tamari of the Sand and Conqueror of the Sand. The sensei is Baki. Not much is known about Gaara in terms of skill, just that he has full control over the sand. He has completed 100 D rank missions, 30 C ranks, 2 B ranks, and 1 A rank. Get this though, yeah, he has completed an A rank mission without being injured even once. The Genin widened their eyes in shock. This guy was trouble. Luckily, his teammates are Tenzin and Neji Hyuga. Hinata flinched at the name of recursion. The sensei is Might Guy. His skills show that while his ninjutsu and genjutsu are none, his taijutsu is off the charts. Naruto frowned. That was not very surprising to hear, since he's a mini guy. Naruto Uzumaki. He has no teammates. His joining sensei is Senju Blackrose, also known as in the Bingo Book of Konoha's Fire Master. He has done 30 C rank missions, 10 B rank, and 2 A rank. His skills in Kenjutsu are very good, as he has affinity for lightning, wind, and water in chakra natures. He is also the best of his generation. The only reason he didn't graduate from the academy in the first year was due to the Hokage's personal request, Kabuto said as Naruto narrowed his eyes at the Genin. This guy has too much information. This kind of information only the Hokage should know, he thought as he remembered to tell the old man about this guy. Soon the room was covered in smoke. Alright, you idiots, listen well. My name is Ibiki Morino, your first proctor for the exams from here on out. I'll be worst nightmare. The room filled with Genins was also filled with several ninjas unnerved to the Genins. They had clipboards and pen in their hands, looking at the Genins with judging eyes. Find a seat. You must sit away from your teammates, Ibiki said. Naruto, Suki, and Sasuke looked at each other with confidence in their eyes before splitting up. Naruto sat in the middle of the room with Hinata and that Suna girl, Tamari, while Suki sat at the back of the room with Sukumaru and the Hyuga boy. Sasuke got stuck with a random Kiryu ninja and a blonde Kumukunoichi. Naruto? Naruto turned his head around to the timid Hyuga on his right as he poked her fingers together. Let's do our best, okay? Naruto nodded at her and smiled, a slight smile. Right. Good luck, Hyuga-san. Hinata frowned a bit. It's okay to call me Hinata. Hey, handsome, Temari spoke on his left, unknowingly or uncaringly cut off the Hyuga before she finished her sentence, and getting the attention of the Uzumaki clan member. Oh, it's you from before. What's your name again? Temari, right? The girl smiled as she winked at him, getting two glares, one from the Hyuga near them and the other from the Uchiha girl from the back of the room. Yuki watched from afar as that girl played games on her crush with a flirtatious look on her eyes. Oh, that bitch is going down, Suki thought. Tamori smiled at him. Got it in one, Naruto-kun. Say, when this is all over, maybe you and I can, go to do something? Naruto, being as oblivious as he was, just tilted his head. Well, I would love that, but I'm pretty busy this month. Maybe after the third stage of the exams are over. That Hinata fumed inwardly. That bitch, she thought. Temari grinned. Great, that would be amazing, Naruto. But for now, good luck. Naruto nodded his head, while Ibiki began to speak. Alright, listen up. My colleagues will be handing out the test to each and every one of you. Each of you will answer 9 questions correctly. If you're caught cheating more than 5 times, the cheater and the other teammates will be disqualified. Points add up with your teammates, so each member better pull off. Wait, if even one of their teammates fails, they all fail. Suki gulped. She did not want to be the reason both Naruto and Sasuke failed the exam, so she'll try her best. Alright, begin. Naruto looked down at the questions that were given to him and his eyes widened. These questions are not for gaining or even for tuning. Well, I can do these questions all by myself if I think a little bit, but about the others, there has to be another motive behind this test. Naruto thought as he widened his eyes as he smirked. Well, Ibiki, you tricky bastard, Naruto thought as he began to write down the answers. Wow, with a little thinking, he was able to answer them all without cheating. Yuki was also going through a tough time but realizing something. She glanced around the room, noticing the tuning judges. The answer racked around in her brain. She just tried to find it. What the hell is there judges here? And a test that practices no cheating rules. If there were no cheating rules placed, they would have outright just disqualified us unless... Suki widened her eyes, figuring out the answer. She glanced at her teammates across the room and sighed. I just hope they figured it out too. Sasuke was going through it with the questions. Both Suki and Sasuke used the Sharingan to copy the answers. The 3 Genins were writing down at the heavy as they used their own ways in getting the answers. As an hour and a half later, Ibiki opened his mouth. Alright brats, time's up. Now let's answer the 10th question. The student looked eager to answer the question, but Ibiki spoke. Yes, but there's one catch. Why is there even a 10th question to begin with? Kipa yelled. Ibiki glared at the Inuzaka, making the boy sweat under his tense look. Shut up, you mutt. It's because I say so. What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna fight me? Kiba kept quiet with Akamaru whimpering. Anyway, to start before I was rudely interrupted, each team will have a chance to answer the 10th question. If any of your team members decide they rather not answer it, the whole team fails. The room began to go tense, but Ibiki continues. If you all choose to answer it and get it wrong, you and your team are to fail and never take the tuning exams again. The left Genin in the room were nervous as hell. What the hell? Are you serious? Ino shouted. Right, that's bullshit, Akiri team shouted. Nearly half of the team couldn't take the stress and decided to leave and try again the following year. Naruto was at Suki and Sasuke. They looked back at him and at each other. We are not backing down, they all thought. They remained seated and stared intensely at the proctor, who watched as half of the room had left. So, those of you who chose to stay, you all ready for the question? The room stayed dead silent as the proctor had no fear. Well, that was most of them. Ibiki saw the room and felt their energy as he grinned. Well, you all passed the first round. The room was now silent before an uproar was heard. What? Ibiki smiled. Yep, you all passed. You all showed determination in the heat of uncertainty and pushed ahead. Most impressed with the members of Team 7 of Konoha. The team members eyed the man. I saw how you all looked at each other. Before anything, you all had each other's back, and the only pushed forward when you know each other were ready. You showed a strong sense of teamwork I haven't seen since a long while, Yubiki said. Most come to this test with the thought of every man up for themselves. You three came in thought of each other, and that's what matters. But everyone did well. You all have a strong will and great intel gathering skills. Sasuke smirked. So it was an test to gather information without being caught, he said. Ibiki nodded. Well, yes, now we must move on to the next. Here I am! A blurch broke through the windows and slammed her body on the desk, and releasing a revealing pose that had Male's Genins beside Naruto blushing up a storm. When everyone came to their senses about what they had seen, they saw that the black ball was a shapely kunoichi that was wearing a very revealing clothing, a near see-through mesh top, and a trench coat that just hid her nipples from showing. She also wore a tight miniskirt and showed off a large portion of her long, slender legs. She had shoulder-length purple hair that kept tied up in a spiky ponytail and pupil-less eyebrows. In her hand was a large banner that read, "Sexy and a single proctor of the second part of the tuning exams. Anko Minarasi." Well, Ibiki, you have aged. There's a lot more gaining than I thought originally thought there would be. Ibiki turned to Naruto. Well, you have some good brats this year. Anko scoffed. Well, we'll see. Alright, brats. Go to training ground 44. Get your asses there, and if you're late, it's an automatic disqualification. She turned and used the Sunshin no Jutsu to leave. The genin began to fill out, and when Suki was behind Naruto, ready to greet him with a smirk, Temari slid in, getting Naruto's attention. So I hope you passed the second stage. With that, she left the classroom with her brothers. Team 7 there. Why were we talking to her? Suki asked, glaring at Naruto, who just tilted his head. I wasn't the one who came to talk. I just couldn't tell her not to talk to me. That would be rude, Naruto said, still oblivious of Tomari's intentions. As Suki ran off with Sasuke looking at Naruto. You know, Naruto, you are clueless when it comes to girls, Sasuke said as he ran off behind her, leaving a confused Naruto. You know, Brad, you're clueless to girls. You remind me of my idiot brother. Wherever he is now. Naruto frowned. Yeah, whatever. Now, before I go, can I ask you to do something? Hibiki nodded his head. Watch out for a guy named Kabuto. He's a guy with gray hair in a ponytail and has glasses. He took the exam 7 times now. He has a lot of information about various things of villages, including our own shinobi village. Information that no one except the Hokage should have. Go tell the Hokage that. Maybe he should do something about this instead of doing paperwork all day, Naruto said as he ran off behind his teammates before Ibiki could scold him about disrespecting the Hokage. Naruto met his teammates at the training grounds. Hey Suki, Naruto said as he looked at him and sighed. She couldn't do anything about how clueless Naruto was. Hey Naruto, she replied. As they were talking, Anko noticed that Naruto was not paying attention. Perfect target to make out of an example of. Uncle thought as he whipped out a kunai and tossed it so it would graze the blonde's cheek. Only problem was her attack failed. Naruto lazily moved his head out of the way as the kunai flew right past him. Not wanting to be outsmarted by a genin, Uncle continued with the attack, this time using a Shunshin no Jutsu to appear behind Naruto, kunai in hand, ready to slit his throat. Her plan once again failed miserably, however, and she found her kunai to be expertly blocked by Naruto's own, and felt cold steel on another kunai pressed against an artery in her exposed thigh. No way, not by a genin, she thought in shock as everyone else began to stare in shock at the scene before them. Normally, I would kill someone who attempts to attack me like that, but it would be of such a waste, Naruto whispered. Where he was, standing her breast still pushed up against his back as she was still struggling to overcome to the terms that she got outmaneuvered by a genin. You're no genin, you move faster than most jonin in this village, Uncle hissed quietly in his ear, not wanting to move but returning to her correct state of mind. Maybe, or is that you went easy on me because you underestimated my abilities? Naruto stated calmly, tapping the flat side of the kunai against her exposed inner thigh. And if I wasn't, Uncle replied. Then repetition holds a lot to be desired. Uncle Mirashi, Konoha's snake mistress. Naruto said, completely calm. This was going on. Nobody could hear what they were saying to all of the observers. It looked like the pair were almost holding each other tenderly. Apart from the blade, Naruto was effortlessly holding away from his throat. They could not see his own. This was getting Naruto some rather jealous looks from the majority of the male population, and some rather disapproving looks from Suki and several other girls, who had not forgiven Anko for her over-the-top dressing sense. As fun as this is, I think it should return to telling the other scared little genins about the second task. Oh, and someone wants to return your kunai to you, Naruto said before removing his kunai from the snake mistress's thigh. Oh, I bet your blood would taste divine, Anko purred into his ear before licking the side of Naruto's face. This got him. Naruto blushed. All calmness that he had was gone. So, you're human after all, she said with a seductive smile before backing away. Naruto looked around, was met with the glares of almost everyone in the exam. All of the guys are now extremely jealous, and the girls are thought that he was a pervert. In fact, the only person who found the situation rather humorous was Shikamaru, who was holding back his laughter. Bastard, Naruto thought, seeing Shikamaru's face. He backed away with a slightly satisfied feeling. She may not have gotten him with either of her attacks, but she was able to make him blush and lose his cool easy though. Kunai, Proctor-san, you should watch where you throw it, came a voice of a female ninja from grass. No fucking way. Two genins getting a drop on me in one day? I need some serious training, Uncle thought as he spun around to see who it was that had approached her silently and gotten through all her senses. Anka was slightly disturbed by the slide of the ninja. There was really nothing unique about her appearance. She was tall with long black hair, but her super long tongue made her the snake mistress rather uneasy. It held the kunai out to her and placed it on Anko's hand. Thank you, Anko said, still unnerved. Don't mention it, the Kusa ninja said, somehow managed to say as her tongue returned into her mouth. Creepy girl, Uncle thought, before turning to address the group waiting for the genins. Now, into the second task. Your team will be competing against the others in simultaneous simulated real-life mission situation. This means that from the moment you enter the forest, anything goes. That is why you all need to fill out these forms, Uncle said. What are these forms for exactly? One of the genin asked. They are so that Konoha will not be responsible for your death or injuries that should occur in the exam. Uncle replied as several Chunin arrived to hand out the form of consent. Looks like this is where the real exam begins, Naruto said. You're right, but I feel you have shown enough of your skill to sufficiently frighten most of the teams from attempting to attack us, a voice said as they looked to see Shikamaru and his team. Yeah, I wouldn't be so sure, Suki said darkly. Why is that? Naruto asked. While you were going off flirting with the proctor, I noticed two teams from Eva and Kumo glaring at you for some reason, Suki said in an accusatory tone. Well, I wasn't flirting with her, Naruto said, but he knew that there was a small amount of flirting going on. Besides, if they come for me, we can handle them. You and Sasuke are strong enough, Naruto said. After everyone handed their consent forms in to Anko, began to explaining the second task in detail. Alright, now that's taken care of, we can move on. The goal in this task is fairly simple. You need to get to the tower that is located at the center of the forest. However, there's a catch. To do so, you will need two objects, a heaven scroll. She held up her left hand to show again what the scroll looked like, and an earth scroll. She raised her other hand to show the difference between the two scrolls. Now each team will be given one of these scrolls, and you'll have to steal the other scrolls from other genins. If you open either of the scrolls before getting to the tower, you'll be disqualified. Finally, you'll have 5 days to complete your task. Anko informed the group. 5 days? What will we eat? Choji asked. Which is filled with many edible things. Although, quite a few of those things will also try to eat you as well, Anko chuckled. Ino and Choji paled at the prospect of running out of food and began counting his packets of chips. Oh no, I don't think I have enough, he whined. Well, Choji, it looks like you have to cut down your food, Naruto said with a grin as Choji glared at him. Mean, he said as Naruto chuckled. Okay, so send one person from each team to collect either a heaven or a earth scroll, along with a gate number of your starting location, Uncle said, offhandedly before walking off to where she had a waiting plate of dango. Sasuke collected the heaven scroll, and the group slowly made their way to the gate that they were assigned. I would wish you good luck, but from what I have seen, I've doubt that you'll need it, Anko quoted Naruto as he passed. Naruto didn't respond. He just gave the snake mistress a rather playful wink and a smile while he walked on. Damn, I think I'm starting to turn into a pervert like Jiraiya sensei. No, it was something harmless for flirting. That doesn't make me a pervert, even if she is almost 10 years older than me, Naruto thought as he walked. That grass kunoichi, something off about her. It was as if she was suppressing her power. But even when she was suppressing her power, she was joining level, Naruto thought as he got serious. Naruto, Suki said, but she was cut off by him. Look, stay quiet. His harsh whisper set her up. Even Sasuke perked up. Naruto was being unusually serious. Listen, don't look openly, but see the Kusakunoichi. He didn't wait for them to look. First things first, if you hear her, run, fly, I don't care what you do, just get the fuck away from her. There's no way she's a Genin. The same goes for the team of the sand. You see that red hair? You run away, he emphasized, looking at Sasuke directly, a storm blowing in his eyes. Sasuke would have normally disagreed Naruto's words, but The urgency and the unusual harshness he said caused second thoughts. Naruto saw Sasuke silently nod and turned to Suki for the same. She looked shaken but gave a small nod as well. Contestants, ready, set, go! Uncle shouted in a giddy voice as all the gates opened simultaneously, all again inside in with intent to win. Team 7 took up a three-point formation with Naruto in the front and Suki and Sasuke in the behind. The two of them acknowledged Naruto's sensing abilities were the best in the team, so this way was the best. Naruto would be the first to sense something. We should come out with a plan for the duration of this test, Naruto said as he flipped up a branch. Fine, down there is the clearing, Sasuke ordered, but they descended to the clearing he spoke of, hidden behind the log. Let's make this quick, because of the air is quickly becoming saturated with our opponent's smells, Naruto commented, sniffing around with his nose. Sasuke spoke up. My plan is simple. Find and ambush a weaker team for the Earth Scroll and hightail it to the tower. Take small breaks, even at the night. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the last point. Even at the night? Sasuke tilted his head. I and Suki and our Sharingan can see at the night, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. We can warn you if anything is wrong. Well, for now, we will follow your plan, but I have a jutsu that can help us, Naruto said with a smirk as Sasuke looked at him with a confused look. Naruto smirked. We have a great opportunity to use my shadow clones to their full advantage. I can look for Earth Scrolls with them, but we would have to find a safe place to wait. Once we get both the scrolls, I can make up the decoys and divide them between me and Suki, while you take the decoys. Sasuke thought about this for a moment, his black eyes flickering to the ground before looking up into the blonde's eyes. Sounds good. I'll go through them to single out the best path for us to go through. You're pulling a lot of weight, Suki said with concern. Naruto smirked but stayed silent. As he finished the decoys, a sudden influx of memories caused his eyes to widen in alarm. His teammates looked at him urgently, with ambitious look on their face. Something had spooked him, and they didn't know how many things that could spook the strongest member of their team. He whipped around to glare at them. They almost flinched at the coldness in his eyes. I'll repeat this. Suki, Sasuke, if you see this sand team, run away. If you see the kunoichi from the grass, sprint, fly, disappear. I don't care what you do, but avoid confrontation with her at all costs. Is that clear? He glared at them even more coldly to get his point through their heads. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Why? Why Shisho? Naruto cut him off with a wave of his hand. Face serious, he said. It's better. Trust me. You don't want this one, Sasuke. Now. His face became unreal once again. I found a team for us to ambush. Remember, the team from Rain. They're a mile away from us northeast. If we hurry, we can catch them before they argue who gets the end of the fake scroll and the real scroll. Sasuke looked at him sharply before switching the topics, but he didn't push it for any more info. He took the lead this time to get the target. Just as they stopped behind the tree, Naruto informed them. The real scroll is in the middle one, Sasuke said. Alright, Naruto, do you have a plan? He had accepted that point that Naruto was a bear leader, and he made the bear plans. Naruto nodded, soundlessly forming 3 shadow clones. Sasuke, remember how Kakashi bored you in the bell test? That is what these clones will do. In case one of them escapes, you and Suki will take care of them. Sasuke glared at Naruto. How do you know that? You were on a team. You were not on the team at that time, Sasuke said, as he looked at Naruto. Well, Suki told me, Naruto said. Sasuke glared at her as she smiled at him innocently. Sasuke as well as Suki gave that him. That is the best you have? He barely refrained from lashing out, but because of the plan was all kind of stupid, Naruto smirked in a way that did not confront the black-haired Avenger. No, but I'm expecting all of them to escape my hold. The decoys I have gave you, they're a bit dangerous, so keep safe distance after giving them away. We'll be eliminating the competition. You see, I'm falling back in case they see you, he said, preparing to jump the tree. Why? Naruto glanced at the raven-haired girl. Every plan should have a backup plan. With that, he jumped away. The one at the left called out, "You wouldn't know subtlety if it hit you in the face, Blondie." He dispelled the clone with his teammates doing the same. The clone had allowed themselves to be dispelled to appear weaker. The truth was, they had allowed themselves to be detected. He called out, "You really thought we'll fall so easily to some pathetic plan? Come on now, we might let you live. You cannot escape." An angry growl escaped from Sasuke's lips as Sasuke jumped down with Suki by his side, eyes and weary. With all up to Naruto now. "Where's the blondie?" the Drain Ninja asked, who Sasuke suspected to be the leader. Sasuke answered in a tight tone. "He went to find us a hiding spot after leaving with the clones." He was sure that the leader was smirking at them behind his breathing mask and said in a mocking tone, "Alright kids, hand over your scrolls." Sasuke took out a heaven scroll from his pouch and threw it to the leader, who caught it easily. He sounded pleased. "A heaven scroll, perfect. It goes perfectly with our earth. You two, kill them." The two behind him took out their kunai and advanced. "Tally ho!" came out Naruto, all too joyous roar. Sasuke and Suki immediately jumped back, but the three Drain Ninja made the dire mistake of turning in the direction of the voice. The Heaven Scroll, on the other hand, revealed itself to be an effective and explosive tag. Sasuke and Suki, while being on the ground, were almost blown back after a few moments of the sheer blast. It was a statement of how dangerous tags that Naruto used were. "Now, that went well." His voice came through the smoke. Sasuke and Suki looked up to see Naruto grinning, Earth scroll in his hand. Sasuke just grunted as he stood up. "I agree," he said in a little disoriented from the blast, along with Suki, but they would be alright in a few seconds. Sasuke nodded and pocketed the scrolls, giving his blonde teammate a nod of thanks. "Okay, same formation as before. This time we won't be stopping until we reach the tower." They went through the trees again, with Naruto sitting comfortable place to allow the other two to keep up. He could have just used Shunshin to get to the tower faster, but this was a good opportunity to check out any teams that they came across the next phase. It wasn't too long before problems arose. Naruto tensed up as he sensed a very familiar evil chakra heading their way, and fast. It wasn't alone. "People, move! We have a tail," he ordered as he picked up the pace. Suki and Sasuke tensed up and picked up the pace as well. Naruto motioned for Sasuke to switch positions, as if they were caught up with. Naruto would have to be the distraction. Naruto took a glance behind. When he flipped over one of the branches, no one was behind them, but Naruto knew that whoever was following them would be catching up with them any time now. Gritting his teeth, he summoned 99 Sada clones all over, which transformed into replicas of the original Team 7. "Move, damn it, move!" he hissed sharply. The clones took off in different directions, each fake team splitting up, though I suspect it won't be enough, he grimly thought. He ordered his team, "Alright, just for a short while, move your asses as if it is on fire. Let's go." They kicked into high gear as they followed as soon as possible. He was somewhat relieved when the large signatures got off their backs. Keeping his senses open, he sensed that the signature was far enough that they could take a short break. He signaled his team to stop on a branch. "I know who was following us for now," he revealed as he gulped down so much needed water along with the others. When the other two looked at him, he said, "One of them was a giant snake. The only seemed interested in making me its meal. The other is a bitch from the Kusa that I warned you about. He has wiped out 10 of 33 teams and he's mad. Bottom line, we need to reach the tower as fast as possible, so hold on." When the two gave him a questioning look, he sighed impatiently and said, "I'll use the body flicker to move us. Now come," he almost yelled. They grabbed onto his shoulder tightly so that they wouldn't be left behind. Naruto was just about to form the ram seal when his danger senses exploded. He hadn't even molded the chakra for Shunshin no Jutsu, so he instinctively used his full speed to avoid the attack that obliterated the branch they were on. Reaching the ground, the other two released their hold and got into stances. Sasuke and Suki gripped their kunais in their hands tighter as they stared into the dust cloud in front of them. They squashed a tiny swing of fear that went through them. Naruto was very serious about the Kusa Kunoichi being dangerous. Based on Naruto's tone, they were fighting an opponent who was abruptly stronger than all three of them combined. Kunai had immediately snapped into their hands, with wind chakra coursing through them. They all stared impassively at the dust cloud, knowing that whatever was behind it would possibly be threatening their lives in a way what's much worse than Zabuza could ever do. His priority was to run away, not fight, because they had a what's worse chance of surviving than a snowball in hell. Plans flashed in his mind, each being discarded instantly as he tried to come up with something that actually gave them a chance. He wasn't allowed to think further as his eyes widened in alarm. He executed a scissor kick to push away his teammates, just in time for himself to be avoided by a mouth of a huge snake that tried to swallow him. "I can't fight the snake here. I need more space, damn it," he cursed mentally. Turn in the opposite direction. Purposefully, it set the pace so that he would get bait the snake away from his comrades. "Damn it, we have to help Naruto," Suki said. "I would not worry about him if I were you." Both of them turned around, and the tension inside them almost doubled when they saw who it was. It was the Kunoichi from the grass. Naruto and the snake. "I don't have time for this," Naruto said as he rushed at the giant snake. Naruto unseated his sword as the snake rushed towards him. As Naruto went through hand signs with the sword that started cackling with lightning style. "Thunderclap dance," Naruto said as he vanished in a yellow blur and appeared in front of the snake. With one clean slice, the snake's head was severed from his body as he poofed it into smoke. "Now I have to get rid to Suki and Sasuke soon. I can't use the Hiraishin right now, otherwise that snake will know my heritage and will try to capture me and try to learn the technique," Naruto thought as he ran towards the direction from where Suki and Sasuke were fighting. Both Suki and Sasuke were on their knees with the killing intent, but they slowly started getting up to their feet. Suki activated her Sharingan, saying with Sasuke, "Such glorious eyes, magnificent. The power they hold, the blood of the Uchiha runs deep within them," Orochimaru thought. Both Suki and Sasuke rushed at Orochimaru and were pushing him back, using their attacks and adapting to each other. Where Sasuke used fire style, Suki would use her own fire style to make Sasuke's attack stronger. They used the Chidori together, but when they hit Orochimaru with it, the man just opened his mouth as another Orochimaru appeared. And this was the scene that Naruto came to see. Sasuke on the ground with a mark on his neck, and Orochimaru rushing towards Suki was on her knees with chakra exhaustion. Orochimaru was about to bite Suki at her neck, giving her the curse mark, but before he could, in a yellow flash, Naruto appeared in front of Suki using the seal that he had given her on her necklace and got bitten instead. Orochimaru's eyes widened when he saw a yellow flash that he thought that he would never see as he sank his teeth into Naruto's flesh as he jumped back to see Naruto. That jutsu, there's no mistake. That was the Hiraishi. But how did this kid know that? Orochimaru thought as he looked at the blonde. Well, it looks like I hit the jackpot. A user of that jutsu, Orochimaru said as he licked his lips. Naruto began to scream in pain as he felt the mark on his neck, which was a 3 tomoe appeared on his left side of his neck, and it was painful. His body was throbbing. Orochimaru moved to Suki, about to mark her, but Naruto threw a 3-pronged kunai there. Don't you dare, he yelled, inwardly terrified. The snake's son smirked at him before he felt the presence of Anbu Black Ops coming his way. He growled but smirked. He at least got one Uchiha brat. He turned to Naruto and threw a heaven scroll at him. He caught and looked fearful at the Sanin. Orochimaru smiled at him. Even after getting my mark, you're able to move. Truly impressive. And with that kunai, I truly know you're a son, so young and yet managed to master his jutsu. You truly are a genius. Naruto, I want to see all 3 of you grow up into fine shinobi. Orochimaru said with a smirk as he started to sink into the ground until he completely vanished. Naruto collapsed to his knees, clutching his neck in pain as he fell unconscious. Suki, but the latter, ran to Naruto. The former collapsed on her knees and threw up. Those eyes, she muttered. Suki ran to Naruto and held him in her arms and as he squirmed in pain. Naruto, please, it's gonna be alright, she said as tears were stinging her eyes as she watched him screaming and cry out loud. Water fell from her eyes as she watched him in pain because he had to save her. She felt like as if she was in fault. She didn't know what to do. Naruto soon let out a blood-chilling scream into the night as he passed out, finally, leaving Suki to cry. Soon Shikamaru's team arrived at the scene. Come here, please, she said in a shaken voice. The girl responded as she ran to her friend after she pulled herself together, seeing both Sasuke and Naruto on the ground. What happened? The Yamanaka member asked. I don't know. Orochimaru did this to him. He hurt him. He bit Naruto, and then he started screaming and passed out. Suki cried. Shikamaru looked at her and saw how much of a wreck she was. First, explain what happened to us. Then we might be able to help, Shikamaru said. As Suki explained everything to him. Well, if that's the case, we'll have to carry these 2 to the towers. Both of you, your teammates, and our teams both have the scrolls. This is only a matter of the exams. If Orochimaru did something to them, we must inform the Jonins. Shikamaru said as he carried Naruto, as Choji carried Sasuke in the way they met Kiba, Shino, and Hinata, and explained the situation, as they also volunteered to go with them since they also had gotten both of their scrolls. On the way to the tower, Suki always stayed beside Naruto and occasionally checking up on Sasuke. In a few hours of continuous running, they reached the tower, and Naruto and Sasuke were taken by Senju and Kakashi. So guys, this is it for the Legacy of the Yellow Flash chapter 9. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.